Hey everybody, I am super excited. It has been Plan As You Go month all month. Today is Tuesday the 29th, question mark? The 28th. Tuesday the 28th. I don't ever know what day it is anyway. And I'm actually going to be focusing on getting my power sheets set up for February. So this is the first monthly check-in of the new year, like the first month completed of the new year. It's not completely completed, because January is not over yet, but I am at the point where I want to start getting February looked at. These are my Cultivate What Matters Powersheets. P.S. If you have not been here for all of the other things. How do I want to do this? Because there's these things I want to check in on, but then there's also the month I want to check in on. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go to the month and fill in everything that I've done so far because I actually have some updates to make, and then head back to my action steps and see where I'm at. So the first thing I want to cross off is I've published my Skillshare class today. Oh yes, I did. You can find it linked down below, Project Planning for Procrastinators, and I can actually link up above the video I did on planning as procrastination, which kind of goes along with that, if you want to go check that out. But yeah, check it out. And the link in the description has 2 months free if you are not a Skillshare Premium member. This is not sponsored by Skillshare, but I'm excited about this class, so I wanted to just kick you over that way. I can check off book club for the week because I sent my book club email this weekend. Or this morning, this weekend, whatever time. I'm doing a new crockpot recipe today, and I'm hoping to have date night with Jessie or a date lunch with Jessie tomorrow. Morning routine and memory keep are done. I have this meeting today, so I'm excited about that. That'll be able to be checked off. Looking at this, there has been some absolute successes this month and some things that were not quite as successful. But before I start doing the rest of my monthly check-in, I want to go to my weekly action or those action steps that I did back in my, setup videos. And this pen I'm using is one of the new Tombow Mono drawing pens. They came out with 3 new sizes, which I'm super excited about. They had them in their VIP box. I don't think that they've started selling them yet. And I bought the VIP box with my own money, but they only had 1, 3, and 5 before, and now they've added 2, 4, and 8. And I decided to go with the 4 today to try it out in my planner because I like using a little bit of a bolder pen sometimes in my power sheets. Okay, so we're going to these action plans for these mini goals that are for Q1, and I want to just go and see how we're doing on all of them so that I can think about what I need to start working on in February. For goal number 1, growing my community to 100K. Mini goal number 1, create idea list of shareable content. I did all of this and that is finished. So what I will do is take a pink highlighter and I will just highlight everything that got done. And it looks like I wanted to start increasing engagement on Instagram and YouTube in February. So these will absolutely go probably on my February tending list. And then as for finish branding, I've started working on branding this month, but I need to work on basically all of this. So that is not something I think I'm going to worry about so much this month, but I do want to absolutely focus on mini goal number 2. This is not even the right highlighter color. I need to get my Stabilos out. I don't know what's happening. Implement and consistently use the paycheck budget method. If you didn't see in my January, this is not something we have started yet. I could feasibly do this in January, but it'll basically be starting in February. So this one has not happened yet and needs to be worked on, focused on in February. I did save $17.50 for the landscaping. That's a win. And as for series 2 of Fuckery Flowers, I have not finished painting the 12. I think one of the things I learned this month is that I cannot do a Skillshare class and do 12 floral paintings in the same month with everything else I have going on. So I need to just condense down this and get the paint 12 flowers done and work on the listings and photography in the same month. I did some of it. I'm just not done with it yet. So absolutely, this will be a February goal as well as this. For goal number 3, this one involved the time tracking, and I actually did not do as much in this goal as I wanted to because of the whole gout situation. For those of you who have not been watching this whole past month, mid-January, I got diagnosed with gout in my left foot. I have kidney disease. I am in stage 4 of kidney disease, and it's not unexpected, but it also was awful. It ruined my mobility. I was on steroids for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so, and that was rough. And so I haven't really gotten started on some of these things yet, but I did decide on a time tracking system. I did choose some categories, so we'll cross that one out. As for the church commitment situation, I have not even looked at that yet. So this is going to definitely be a February goal. I probably should update some of these dates, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And then establishing regular time off, scheduling 3-day weekends for quarter 1 and quarter 2. We got quarter 1 done, but not quarter 2. So that is something I could try and get done with Jessie before the end of the month. And maybe I'll actually add that. So maybe what I should be doing here if I'm thinking about it, is make a list on this little Post-it of things that I want to try and get done this week before we head into February. The budgeting situation, I don't know if we'll have time to do that this week. Jesse's having a pretty rough work week, so whether or not he is able to sit down and work on that may not happen, so I'm not going to worry so much about that. And I did decide how often I'd like to be at church. Ideally, I am at church at least twice a month, probably no more than 3 times a month, because it is nice to have a Sunday off from doing anything, being able to sleep in once in a while. These are 2 things I can do this week with Jesse that shouldn't be 2. One of them is with Jesse, one of them is just with me, that I think we can get checked off pretty quickly. Number 4, develop and nurture routines in all areas of my life. I did read Good Morning, Good Life, and the book club is wrapping up this Saturday, the 1st, I think it is. Pick a journaling technique. I haven't done that yet. I've tried a couple of journaling techniques and haven't enjoyed them yet. So that is still a work in progress. Focus on better sleep. Find a nighttime home for my phone. I know it should go on my desk. I know where it goes. I just haven't started doing it yet, but I have found the home. Get an alarm clock. I actually have that as well in my Fitbit, because it buzzes on my wrist and it doesn't wake my husband up, which is amazing. No caffeine after 3 p.m. That's something I need to track. I've been pretty good at it so far, but that is something I need to track. And find my optimal wake-up time. I have been sleep tracking using the Fitbit. That's actually something really cool that it does. So I have that device as well. And then wake up at that time for 2 weeks. Haven't quite done that yet. That's going to be something to focus on in February. For my prioritize quality time, go on a day trip with my kids in January. We did that. We went to Japantown. That was actually right when the gout started kicking in. As a matter of fact, it was hurting that day. We wound up having to leave a little bit early. But when I got back the next day, I believe, was the day I went to the ER. So I will never forget that. And then happy birthday, Cindy, Saturday. Tickets to the acapella show. Pick a dinner time and make reservations. I haven't made the reservations yet, but I need to do that day. So I'm just going to cross that off. And then have a happy day. Hasn't happened yet, but I'll cross that off once it does. And then plan time for year. Pick summer dates. We did that. Worked out the custody with my ex-husband. We actually did that as well. And pick the 3-day weekends is the thing that we still need to finish doing. So I made a lot of progress on this action plan this month, actually, which was pretty cool. Maybe I kind of softballed myself this one, and we need to get a little bit harder, maybe. Or maybe it's nice to have a softball goal. I don't know. Okay, tend to the body and spirit I have right now as kindly as I can. Publish living donor info. I have not done any of this yet, and that is something we wanted to do this month. Walk 5 times weekly. I'm going to give myself this because I was doing that until the gout kicked in. And so I'm going to give myself credit for that, but I want to pick it back up in February. Increase route to 2+ miles. That also I did when I was walking, and find a step tracker. That's done. So that is something I have been doing, gout notwithstanding. Create a meals database. I don't know if I'm actually going to do this or not. I haven't decided yet. Now that I've gone back to weekly meal planning, I'm not so sure I need this. I'm not sure yet. But I have found 4 new dinners that we like just by doing the crock pot situation. So there is that. The living donor info is absolutely going to need to be happening in, like, this goal right here is the especially since my kidney function is dropping again. This is going to be the big one for February, and I'll worry about this one as time goes on. Step into more local connections. As for joining the local art community, I did join NVAA, and my first event is today, so I'm excited about that. Make a list, and I have not done that yet. We have not worked on this yet. We have invited friends, but we haven't bought tickets yet. And then as for this one, I need to completely work on this, although we did get a planner lunch scheduled, and we had that, so made a little bit of progress, but I want to work on my friends list in February, as well as attending another one of these events. And then goal number 8, craft a home environment we are proud of. So the goal that we wanted to do this month was rearrange RJ's room. We got the floor plan. We rearranged the room. The only thing we haven't done is paint the red wall, and that's because of the weather, so that will be a February thing. On the other hand, I also did some work with the closet. We purged the clothes, so we still need to design the new system and build the new system, but there has been that so far. And then we actually did all of the living room lightings. That whole situation is finished. So for February, we have the red wall, and then the next situation will be the closet. So that is my progress on my weekly action, my mini action items for each goal. As you can see, I have made progress on every single goal, with the least progress probably happening on goal number 2. And maybe goal number 1 as well, although goal number 1 is there's just a lot happening. But the most progress I made was probably the quality time with my family and the home environment. And part of that is, at least with the home environment, I've been home so much because of the gout. So it kind of worked out that way. With all of that being said, let's go into January. This calendar did not really do things the way I wanted it to. I'm going to try and figure this out for the next month, so I'm not sure about that yet. But as for this, we've kind of looked at this, and like I said, we have another few days left to figure it out. So I'm going to add this situation kind of up here so I don't forget. So let me fill in my month in review, and then I will talk about it. Okay, so here is my month in review. It's pretty sloppy, but why the fuck not? The pen was writing really smoothly on this paper, though. This month, I'm grateful for working for myself. Being able to work for myself with the gout was really helpful. The goals that are growing well, I kind of talked about this already, but prioritizing family, some of my work goals, and my home environment all got a lot of progress made. I'm grateful for my kidney doctor for being amazing this month. I really needed to lean on him, and he, despite having a broken foot himself, was perfect for that. Chef's kiss, Dr. Johnny. And also Jesse. I say this a lot, but fuck, dude, if you have a supportive partner when you are sick, especially when you go through bouts of extra sickness, there is nothing more helpful than that sometimes. And I'm very grateful. Every day I'm grateful for him, but especially this month. I'm choosing to grace over guilt over not getting those paintings done. I'm celebrating my progress with saving the $17.50. For me, that's a big deal. Like, being able to open a new savings account specifically for this purpose and drop that money in there meant a lot to me. My favorite memory from this month was Jesse's birthday lunch. We had a great time. It was right before the gout kicked in too, so I was on a high that day. And then a crash after, but that was a great day. And then a good lesson I learned, again, I just talked about this, but doing a Skillshare class and trying to paint a new series of paintings in the same month, not a great idea. So as I plan the year out further, I need to separate those things because I want to do more of both. Saying no to being on the board, we're doing the nominating committee, and I keep feeling myself wanting to volunteer to go back on the board because I really enjoyed it, while at the same time knowing that is really not a good idea when my health is this precarious. So saying no to reinforce I will not volunteer myself to be on the board. And I'm saying yes to going to the gym next month because I started to really enjoy it when I was going. And now I just need to get back on it now that the gout has cleared up and the prednisone is done. Fingers crossed. So that's January. So now we're into February. Now we're onto this Prepare Well page, which I like so, I said this last month and I'm going to say it again. I like this so much better than the last year PowerSheets opening information. Important to-dos, finishing those paintings. I have some stuff for the book I need to work on for marketing. I need to finish my presentation for the Chicago Planner Conference, plan the next Skillshare class, at least brainstorm it, paint RJ's wall, pick a new book club book because I think I want to do another one in March, go away with Jess at some point this month, and taxes. And then what I'm excited for is the Chicago Planner Conference, which is at the end of February, the acapella show, which is at the beginning of February. Jess has some friends visiting. They're going to stay with us for a day or so. And then going back to the gym, which sounds weird. I never thought I'd say that, but maybe it's because I am now not going to take for granted the fact that I can walk around because I've had to deal with some fucking mobility issues, and it's made me both grateful for when the gout isn't here, and it just super makes me empathetic for people who have mobility issues on the regular. At least I hope it makes me empathetic. I don't want to assume I'm so empathetic, whatever. On my mind, been talking about this, but I have to probably go back in for another surgery on my fistula. Not for a new fistula, but a new surgery on my fistula. And then fucking gout, because it could come back. And I don't want that to happen. Lulu, really? Seriously. Finishing the paintings just because, what if I never have any, oh, there goes the litter robot. What if I never have any more inspiration and the living donor stuff, because that's scary for me to put myself out there like that. And then I'm hopeful that we have a smooth and uneventful month with no new health curveballs after this month. That would be wonderful. I think I'm going to do this stuff first and then go to the calendar. So I'll fill this in right now. Okay, so here is my list. I kind of talked about all of this already. These are basically the things from the action items list that I figured I wanted to get done this month. So I will be transferring all of these over to, I don't usually follow this. This just gives me like the brain dump, and then I can take all of this information and translate it into my tending list. And what I think I'm going to do is fill out the tending list, and then when I'm looking at this, plot out like ideally how it would work. Like, and I think what this might become for me is an ideal month. This will not be my regular month, but this will be kind of what I hoped the month would look like, so that when I compare this to how it actually goes, I'll see sort of how well I was. Hold on, my cat is putting his paws on one of my paintings. Lulu, your dirty shit mittens off of my paintings. Holy shit. Anyway, so I think I'm going to use this for an ideal month. So first I want to actually look at my tending list. And my encouraging words are actually going to come from the Daily Stoic, something I read earlier this month that I have really been, this is one of my new morning routine kind of habits I'm picking up. And it was from January 16th, never do anything out of habit. I love the idea of, while building routines, still examining why you're doing what you're doing, and is it the best way to do it? And should you be doing it that way? Or are you doing it that way because you're always doing it that way? So I want to write down this quote: know why you do what you do it for the right reasons. And my top priority this month is finishing series 2. Here's my tending list. I have on here monthly analytics, finishing series 2 paintings, the prints and the photography graphics. I can't spell photography apparently, so I put WTF. Write monthly budget with my husband, save $17.50, church commitment plan to drop some church commitments, pick a journaling technique, publish living donor info, schedule or have 2 friend dates, that NVAA meeting, file 2019 taxes. That's all monthly. In the monthly commitments, I have 6 goals represented. So the only goals not represented in the monthly task list are the home projects and the prioritized family time, but those show up in the weekly action items. We're going to do soups for our monthly recipe challenge. So if you want to know what recipes I'm looking at for soups, the Crock-Pot recipe challenge was a great success. Everyone I've made so far has been amazing, and there's one more I'm doing today, which is a beef tips one. And so far, we've been really happy with all of them. So we're doing soups in February because it's going to be cold, and why not, right? My Pinterest board will be linked in the description if you're curious to see the recipes I collect for these particular challenges. Weekly budget check-in, assuming, again, we get the budget written. Taking a real day off once a week in February. Inbox 0, date night or lunch with Jess. And then I added a new one, outing with the kids. So this would be the weeks that they're here. Either I take them each out on their own for lunches, which I do sometimes, or I do something with the 2 of them. I'd like to do that more often. I did it while they were on break, and I'd like to make it a priority while they're not on break. And then home projects, it'll be RJ's wall, but also whatever else we do around the house. And then weekly reflection, something I'm still kind of working on, but it's something I really want to do as part of a weekly routine. And then for daily action items, we have publishing on YouTube and being active in the comments for the first hour, publishing on Instagram and being active on the comments for the first hour. The goal for YouTube is 3 days a week and Instagram 4 days a week. Waking up at 6 a.m., going to the gym, and time tracking. So that is my tending list, and I think it looks pretty doable. A lot of these things are not huge tasks, but the ones that are big, like the Series 2, are going to take up a lot of my time. So all that being said, now I want to take this information and apply it to February to see like what I could imagine the month looking like. All right, so this isn't everything on my tending list, but it's a lot of them, a lot of the things I can kind of plug in. So I'm assuming I'll be working on the paintings for the first 3 weeks of the month, and then I'll wrap them. And then I put finished prints and photography on this Friday, but actually I want to kind of finish them on this Thursday because I'm going to this Chicago Planner Conference on Friday. I have my birthday celebration here, and I have a day off with Jesse planned on the 7th and one on the 17th. On both of these days, my husband is off, and on this day, my kids are off too. I'll also be picking Kat up from their elections con that day, so it's a good idea to be done with it. Most of these things I've just sort of plugged in as I want them. I don't have all the date nights plugged in. I don't have all of the friend dates or anything plugged in here, but it's just giving me kind of an idea of what I'm looking at, and it looks like I'll be front loading during this week here while Jesse's on vacation. But I need to be done with a lot of this stuff earlier in the month because of my event at the end of the month. I don't know how helpful this is going to be for me, so I don't think I've quite found the right way to use this yet, but for now, I'm just going to go with this. What is something coming up in February that you're looking forward to, whether it's from your goals or just something that's going on, an event, maybe something you're excited about? Tell me about something coming up in February for you in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my new Skillshare class, Project Planning for Procrastinators. You can find it linked in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.